Hey, let everybody say, yeah. Man, let's go, let's go. Come on, say. Yeah. Everybody in the house say, we invite you, Lord, in this place.
Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. God bless you, my friend. Dr. Ray Johnson here. Welcome to another edition of Monday's Meal, where it indeed is more manna to help move you towards your life mandate. I'm glad you're taking time to tune in tonight. The new year is well underway for us here in the Walk of Dominion. As you already know, it's a year of the crossing. It's not just moving from December 31st to January 1st, but it indeed is what we call a Kairos moment, a year of crossing where we are coming out of it and breaking through. I love to say it this way, coming out of it, because God has unfinished business, my friends. He's going to work on your behalf, and as a result, breakthroughs are happening for you. I'm excited tonight to be able to share with you a little bit more manna to help move you towards your life mandate. Very, very powerful time this past Sunday in the Word. We've been looking at this month, starting out with Ezra. Last Sunday, Nehemiah. This coming Sunday, we're going to take a look at Esther and how all three of those work together in terms of how breakthroughs happen and take place in your life. This past Sunday, man, listen, Nehemiah's word was real powerful. It literally helped us to understand how it is that God can use us to be able to help set others free. I want to just deep dive back into the message real quickly, and then we'll get into tonight's discussion for tonight. You know, when we looked at how it is that Nehemiah found out that he was the man that God was going to use, he remembered that he was the cupbearer, if you will, if you remember that, which means that he would have to taste and be able to eat some of the king's food simply because of the political assassination attempts that would happen all around him. And so remember that word, and one of the ways that you know that you are the man is because of, you know, your prayer life, your posture, and then remember this last one, the provision, and then the presence of God that was on you. I want to go back in and talk about provision for a moment, because we got into this this place inside of the word where we looked at provision from this lens in terms of the permission that's been given, products that happen to you, and then also the provision that literally takes place and starts to move you from one place to the next. But I got a question tonight for tonight's Monday meal. I got a question tonight for tonight's Monday's meal. And that is just simply this. How do we know? How do we know that we literally have got provision working for us? How do we know that we've got provision that's working for us on our behalf? One of the ways that you can find out that you've got provision that's working for you, one of the ways that you know that you've got provision that is working for you, number one is uncommon favor. That's right, uncommon favor. Things that don't normally happen all of a sudden start happening for you when you've got provision that's working for you. My goodness. Let me understand. Let me help you understand what I'm talking about when I say uncommon favor. Remember, King Artaxerxes asked Nehemiah the question, "What can I do for you?" Nehemiah responded that he wanted to be able to have access to a passageway. He wanted to be able to go back to his city in Judah and to help rebuild the wall around the temple that Ezra was working on. King Artaxerxes says, "How long are you going to be gone?" Wait a minute. Here you are, a captive. You are under siege. You're working for the king. You're basically his subject. And the king asks you what you want. And you say, "I want to leave and go back and rebuild the protective walls of where I'm from further military invasion." And the king is so blinded by the favor on your life that he asks you, how long will you be gone? Now, that's just one part of it right there. That's like you going to the bank and the bank asking you, how much money do you need with no collateral? How much can we give you at a lower interest rate? That's like the bank saying to you, listen, we know that you can't afford to pay this back, but how much do you really need? That's not even the shouting part for me, y'all. The shouting part for me was Nehemiah responded back by saying, if it pleases the king, I'll give you a time. That's like saying, the bank saying to you, don't even worry about paying it back monthly. Pay us when you can, and we'll know when we get it. That's what I'm talking about when I say uncommon favor. And in this year of crossing over, hear what I'm saying to you, because God has got unfinished business. God's going to work in your life this year in such a way where you're going to have that kind of uncommon favor on your life, where things are going to happen for you that don't make no sense at all. And I want you to be looking for it, because that's a means of provision. You're not going to be able to explain it. It's not going to make any sense to you. You don't even know where in the world and how this is going to happen or take place, but it's going to be God, because he's at work. He's going to be dealing with the unjust systems and the injustice that has happened to the innocent, righting some wrongs and working on your behalf. I hope that you are hearing what I'm laying down in here on tonight. Number two, how is it, Reverend, that I know that I've got uncommon favor of provision? Let me ask it this way. How do I know that I've got provision? So number one is uncommon favor. Number two, you can't even deal with the facts. God's going to do away with the facts of your situation. You know, the facts say that when you borrow money, you've got to pay it at a certain time each month. And because you got to pay it at a certain time each month, when it's not paid at that time, you're incur interest with late fees. Check out what happened with Nehemiah. Nehemiah goes to the king and he says, listen, I need you to give me a letter so that as I pass through all of the countries and all of the gateways and all of the provinces, all of the kings and governors of those regions will allow me to pass through without harming me and without bothering me. The facts are that Israel and Judah were captives. And if they tried to leave from Babylon to head back to Judah, the moment that they set foot outside of Babylon, they would have been attacked by all their other enemies. They would have not gotten any passageway at all whatsoever. The facts say that that should be nothing that should ever happen. But I'm going to tell you, in this year, as you're in this year of crossover, this season of crossing over, that there are going to be moments where God's going to do away with the facts. He's going to make mincemeat out of the facts so that the facts won't make sense according to this natural realm. It's going to be by a supernatural realm whereby which you're going to have passageway to be able to navigate through to get to where the places that God has already got preordained and destined for you. I'm telling you, it's a season of crossing over where God's righting some wrongs and dealing with some injustices on your behalf. I hope you are hearing what is being laid down here on tonight. Why? Because it's manna to help move you toward your life mandate. In the midst of the chaos, the confusion, and the calamity, this kind of provision is for those who've already been faithful, because God's going to provide you with favor. He's going to do away with the facts. Got to land this plane tonight. Let me get to this last one. You're going to be able to do away with false fights this year. Say it again. You're not even going to have to engage in false fights this year. Let me explain what I mean when I say false fights this year. If you go back, you read the text of Nehemiah chapter 2. One of the things that you'll find out in there is that when you get toward the end of the stanza of verses 8, 9, and 10, Nehemiah recognized that the hand of God was on his life. And this is why he had this provision of uncommon favor and the ability to be able to have provision in terms of passing through with all of the products and things that he needed. But here's what's interesting. The text says that Sanballat and Tobias were upset with Nehemiah. And if you read chapters 3, 4, and 5, you know they caused him a whole lot of problems and trying to fight him in terms of being able to rebuild the wall. I won't got time to go into the rest of the story. I just simply want to say it to you like this. Those are false fights that you don't got to engage in this year, because all of your adversaries and even your enemies are going to already be dealt with. So imagine, if you will, with me, the text reads this way. Sanballat and Tobias recognized the favor of God on Nehemiah's life. And the facts became that they decided to help Nehemiah and to provide for him rather than fighting against him. What are you saying, Rab? I'm saying to you that in this year, this season of crossing over, your enemies are about to become your friends. You're no longer going to have to deal with false fights. Now, don't misunderstand when that happens, because sometimes enemies can become frenemies, not that they necessarily agree with you or like you, but because God is with you, they've got to add provision to you in order for you to get done what it is that God's called you to do. My goodness, in here, I wish I had more. I don't. I wish I had more time to be able to lay this out and unpack this for you. But let this be manna to help move you towards your life mandate, to understand how provision works in your life. God's going to give you favor. He's going to do away with the facts, and he's going to destroy all of the false fights so that your enemies become your frenemies and have to provide for you. Listen, I want you to wake up tomorrow morning with Lady right at 6 a.m. I'm telling you, it's going to be another powerful time. We're going to have grace to finish. I can't wait to see you tomorrow morning with her at 6 a.m. Take care, my friend. God bless. Bye-bye.
Let's go. Come on.